Now, as tensions are rising across the country, the president, a self-proclaimed healer of souls, has gone noticeably missing and quiet. He desperately needs this radical base to show up for him in November. So Joe has been trashing Netanyahu and Israel while trying to ignore the hate-filled protests of the left. He's trying to walk a tightrope. And as we all know, well, Biden does not have very good balance in any regard. Anyway, now he's falling in the polls in a major way. Don't take it from me. Let's look at this. A brand new poll from CNN. Donald Trump has now opened up a whopping 6-point lead nationwide, nearly double the margin of error. When you throw in the third-party candidates, Donald Trump's lead swells to 9 points. The key driver behind these numbers, well, the economy and immigration. According to the same CNN poll, 66% of voters disapprove of Joe Biden's handling of the economy, and it is not just fake news CNN. Let's look at the CBS poll from 3 key battleground states showing that a large plurality of Americans believe they would be much better off financially if Donald Trump wins in November. In Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, an overwhelming majority of voters believe the economy was better under Donald Trump. Most believe the economy has gotten worse since the end of the pandemic. And that's not all. Donald Trump has now pulled ahead when it comes to an important question. Who better understands people like you? They can't answer, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? Now, this is all on the heels of last week's Bloomberg Morning Consult polls showing Donald Trump winning 6 out of 7 swing states. And don't forget Gallup. They have a poll out finding that Joe Biden is the least popular president in modern history, the last 70 years. Meanwhile, a new Harvard-Harris poll also finding that Trump is leading nationwide in both a head-to-head matchup with Biden and a 3-way matchup against Biden and RFK Jr. And get this, the poll showed that 57% of Americans believe that Democrats are, quote, using the legal system in biased ways to take out a political opponent. And 64% indicated that Biden's cognitive decline is getting worse every single day. The polls now are so bad that during a podcast featuring Biden, Clinton, and Obama, well, actor Jason Bateman suggested that, Joe, why don't you go on Hannity's program for an hour and defend your great record? But instead of providing a thoughtful answer, well, he needed his predecessor, Barack Obama. Well, not his predecessor, but his former partner, Barack Obama, to step in, leading to a lot of questions, really. How much influence does Obama have over Joe Biden? You decide.
You've got very smart people to suggest what it is that you do, but like, could it be as simple as just like granting an hour to Sean Hannity and sit down and go, you tell me why the people who follow you think I'm not a good president, and just answer his questions, call his bluff. I mean, because the information, the facts are all there. It's particularly for that group of people. What you do is so much better suited than what the other agenda is talking about. So is it just a matter of just getting on that network? I don't get it.
First of all, you guys are exactly right. Joe's got an unbelievable record of accomplishments.
The question was to Joe, not to Barack. Barack felt the need to jump in and answer for Joe because he knows he's not capable of answering. Now, by the way, just to be official, Joe is more than welcome on this program for the entire hour, and I'll give him an extra 3 hours of uninterrupted radio time. But I don't think Joe could handle a live segment on MSDNC, much less an entire hour on this program. It's pretty simple. This doesn't look good for Joe. He needs help answering basic questions. He struggles, he mumbles, he bumbles, he stumbles. He's having a hard time walking and talking. And let's not forget when, he read the instructions from the teleprompter like an elderly Ron Burgundy. 4 more years, pause, whoops. From the economy to inflation to illegal immigration to violence in the Middle East, war in Europe, to the obvious cognitive decline, it is no secret why Biden is hemorrhaging support from several usually reliable demographics. Then, of course, he's out there talking about his dear uncle that was eaten by cannibals. But anyway, I digress. But it's not stopping Democrats and strategic, minds that are in the Democratic Party. James Carville's a lot of things. I've debated him, smart guy, and he's getting really pissed off. Watch.
So I hear this a lot. James Young voters are just not into this. It's two candidates. One's in the 80s, one's is almost in the 80s, and they're concerned about things that Washington are politicians, and you just can't blame them for, oh, you. All right? Are you watching what is happening in the Supreme Court? If you're 26, do you see what they're doing? First of all, they're going to take every right that you could possibly have away from you. If Trump and Roberts and Alito and Gorsuch and Thomas and Leonard Leo and the Heritage Foundation, if they get a hold, there will be no government left. There will be no rights left. You'll live under theocracy. You'll end up with Christian nationalism. But that's all right, you little 26-year-old. You don't feel like the election's important to me. They're not addressing the issues that I care about.
Don't worry, with Joe unable to communicate effectively, Democrats are once again rolling out, well, their not-so-secret weapon. That's right, VP Harris. And recently, during a, pretty grotesque, fawning interview with Drew Barrymore, Kamala spoke out against those who dare to criticize her constant, inappropriate, weird giggling and laughing. Take a look.
You were asking me earlier about what it means to be, like, the first woman. And, it's funny because people still got to get used to this, right? I mean, my staff, for example, sometimes they'll show me little things that just amuse me. Like, apparently, some people love to talk about the way I laugh.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I love your laugh.
Well, let me just tell you something. I have my mother's laugh. Oh. And I grew up around a bunch of women in particular who laughed from the belly. They laughed. They would sit around the kitchen and drinking their coffee, telling big stories with big laughs. I'm never going to be, that's just, I'm not that person.
Now, there's really only one way to stop Kamala from laughing, vote her out of office. That would be 189 days from now. And you can send her boss, Joe Biden, to finally retire on the beach in Delaware. Maybe he'll build up his muscles and be able to pull along his beach chair.